What is up, YouTube? How's everybody doing today? This is Everything is Tech here from everythingistech.com. In this video, I will be reviewing the Canon EF 28 to 135mm lens kit. Now, this is an awesome lens kit for a really decent price, and it is one of my favorite lenses that I've used on my Canon T3, and I do use this from day-to-day basis, and I really do love the lens. So in this video, I will be going over the features of the lens, my likes and dislikes, and where this lens stands among all the other lenses that Canon has to offer for the price point and the quality of the photos. So the first thing I want to cover in this video is the actual features of the lens, which is really important for whenever you go ahead and buy a lens. So the first thing I want to go over are the switches on the lens. So the first switch over here is the AF and MF switches, and pretty much what that really stands for is autofocus and manual focus. So as far as focusing goes with this lens, especially autofocus, this lens does a magnificent job of autofocusing, especially because this actually does have a USM motor inside, and what the motor does, it actually helps the lens in focusing, so that will actually bring in faster focusing times. Now, one thing you have to all keep in mind is when you go ahead and buy this lens and want to try using the manual focus mode, it's a little bit different than your 18 to 55mm lens kit when it comes down to manual focus. What you have to do with this lens when you go ahead and manual focus, you have to actually use this macro wheel that is on the lens. I'm not sure what you really call it. I call it the macro wheel because you change the distance and everything, but I'll get into that in just a second. So the key rule with this lens is that you have to be 1.6 feet away from your subject before you can focus. So if you're closer than 1.6 feet or 0.5 meters, you're just not going to be able to focus with the lens, and you'll just keep getting blurry shots. And honestly, that really does suck, but all lenses have their benefits. So one thing I want to talk about really quickly is the macro ring, or the macro wheel. And what this pretty much does is, if you change the wheel over here, it actually can focus, or you can actually set the distance of where the lens will focus. So if you go ahead and start with the lowest amount, which is 1 meter, you have to be at least 1 meter from your subject, and then you can focus on it. And as you keep turning the wheel, you can go through the different amount of distances that you have to be from your subject to focus. Then you can eventually just go into the infinity, and then from the infinity, the lens will just determine itself by how far away the subject is, and then you can just go ahead and focus and take the shot. In addition, one final thing I want to mention before I move on is that if you want to go ahead and maybe put a filter or a lens hood on your lens, you will need to buy a filter or a lens cap that is 72mm in diameter. So keep that in mind if you want to go ahead and buy any of those accessories for your Canon lens. So as far as the build quality goes in this lens, I'm definitely satisfied with the build quality, and for the price you pay, I think the build quality can get better than what it is over here on this lens. And of course, keeping all that in mind, I don't think you want to try and test your luck with this lens and maybe just throw it on the pavement floor, because in that case, I'm pretty sure you'll break the lens. But of course, as far as, you know, holding the lens in your hand and while you're shooting day to day with the lens, you'll be rest assured that this won't break down on you, because it is a really sturdy lens and it definitely holds its place. The last thing I want to say about this lens is that it is really lightweight, and also it's really small when it's all the way zoomed into the 28mm focal length, which means you can actually just put this on the side of your bag and take along with you. It's so lightweight and so small that you just really won't even notice that it's with you until you start using it with your camera. My experience with the Canon 28 to 135mm lens kit has been fantastic so far. I've owned it for about 6 months, and it's probably my favorite lens kit. Right now, currently, I own 4 lenses, and I've used maybe about 6 or 7. So coming from, you know, someone who hasn't really been exposed to that many lenses, I think this is my favorite lens kit so far. It has a really nice distance that it covers. It goes from a 28mm focal length to 135mm focal length, which is fantastic. It's a good all-around lens, so you don't have to worry about constantly switching your lens for, you know, different types of scenarios. So it works good as an all-around lens. The only time I don't use that lens is when I'm taking photos of indoors and there's really low light situations. Then I switch over to my prime lens kit, or if I'm recording a video, I use my 18 to 55mm lens kit. And besides that, for all other scenarios, I use the 28 to 135mm. So you guys can probably understand that it's on my camera most of the time. I barely ever take it off. So again, it is my favorite lens kit. I've never had a problem with it so far, and it's just a really great lens. I don't think you can go wrong with it. So this lens is just about $350, which is not bad at all for a low-end consumer's lens. Again, this is one of my favorite lenses, and if you guys start using it, I'm pretty sure you guys will start enjoying it as well. And especially if you're coming from an 18 to 55mm lens kit, you guys are going to definitely love this lens. Again, if you guys want to go ahead and check this out, it's on Amazon.com for about $350. If you go ahead and use the link down below, it'll also help me out. So that'd be awesome if you guys could go use that link to buy any items on Amazon.com. And besides that, this concludes my video. I'll have a photo slideshow right after this part. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a message or a comment, and please subscribe. It really helps me out. So thanks for watching. This has been Everything is Tech from everythingistech.com, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. And stay tuned for the photo slideshow right after this.